Sometimes the biggest history lessons don't come from some dusty old textbook. Nope, they can pop up in the most unexpected places, like, say, a simple board game. Today, we're going to do just that. We're going to unpack the incredible story hidden inside a single playing card. So, let's dig into that, shall we? What exactly does it take to become a wild card for freedom? We're going to be looking at this one card from a game about the Underground Railroad, and it features 3 very different leaders. Our mission really is to figure out what in the world they have in common, and why they, of all people, earned this special status. And here it is. In this game, this is basically the jackpot. It's the most powerful card you can possibly draw. It lets you start your escape to freedom right away, no waiting around. And the 3 faces you see there, that's Ulysses S. Grant, Abraham Lincoln, and Vicente Guerrero. But why them? What's the secret sauce? What did these 3 guys do to get on the most important card in the game? Well, to figure out why they were chosen, we gotta look at how they were chosen. Turns out the game's creators have a really specific set of rules. Think of it like a checklist for what makes a hero, and you have to meet these standards to even be considered for this card. The creators call them the 4 pillars. First up, you've got heritage dignitas, which is a fancy way of looking at a person's character and how their own life story reflects the values they fought for. Second is insightful wisdom, basically smart leadership. Third is resourcefulness, that ability to make something out of nothing and push forward against the odds. And finally, the big one, the absolute deal breaker. They had to have used their political power to actively, and I mean actively, promote freedom. So let's see how our 3 guys stack up. First up to the plate is Ulysses S. Grant. Now, most of us know him as the top general for the Union in the Civil War or as a US president. But the story that gets him on this card, it actually starts way earlier, with this quiet, incredibly personal act of conviction. Okay, picture this. The year is 1859. Grant is flat broke. Desperately needs cash. He could have easily sold the one enslaved man he owned, William Jones, for a lot of money. Problem solved, right? Instead, he walks into a courthouse and signs the legal papers to set him free. He chose justice over his own survival. And that's the whole point, isn't it? That one private moment of resourcefulness and dignity, it was like a preview for his entire public life. This is the same man who would go on to lead the army that ended slavery, and then, as president, use the full power of the US government to crush the Ku Klux Klan and protect the rights of newly freed African Americans. All right, that's Grant. Now let's bring in our second figure, Abraham Lincoln. We all think we know his story, but when you look at it through this specific lens, these 4 criteria, you start to see it in a whole new light. We're really zeroing in on how he used the presidency as a direct weapon for justice. For Lincoln, this wasn't just about politics. It was deeply personal. At his very core, he believed slavery was a monstrous injustice. That powerful moral conviction, that insightful wisdom, well, that was the engine driving his biggest and boldest moves as president. And boom, here's where he just nails that final criterion, using power for freedom. Lincoln's resourcefulness was on full display when he signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This one document completely changed the game. The Civil War was no longer just about preserving the Union, it was now officially a war to end slavery. A massive moral stand from the highest office in the land. Okay, so we've got Grant and Lincoln. But our third guy, he might be the one you've never heard of. And honestly, he is a crucial piece of this whole puzzle. So let's talk about Vicente Guerrero, the second president of Mexico. This was Guerrero's motto, La patria es primero, which means the homeland comes first. And for him, that homeland wasn't just a piece of land. It was a place of total equality and freedom for every single person. It was a revolutionary idea, and he was about to make it law. So, who was this guy? Guerrero was a hero of the revolution who became president. But here's the critical part. He was of African, indigenous, and Spanish heritage. He literally embodied the multiracial nation he wanted to build. You can't get a better example of that heritage dignitas criterion than that. And now, get ready for this. Just look at these dates. In 1829, Vicente Guerrero abolished slavery in all of Mexico. That is more than 3 decades before Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. He used his power, and he did not waste a single second.
The impact of this was absolutely enormous. Guerrero's decree didn't just free people inside Mexico. It turned the entire country into a beacon of hope. It became a sanctuary for enslaved people escaping from the United States. He basically created a southern route on the Underground Railroad.
Okay, so we've looked at three very different men from different times, different places. We've got a personal sacrifice, a political transformation, and a radical decree. Let's pull all these threads together and see the big picture. So let's just break it down one last time. Grant showed dignity by freeing a man when he had nothing. Lincoln, who came from poverty, used his power to change the whole moral purpose of a war. And Guerrero embodied his nation's diversity and used his presidency to make radical, immediate change. See? Each one checks all the boxes, but in their own completely unique way. And this, right here, is the core idea. The wild card isn't just about three cool historical figures. It's about three different types of heroism. It shows us that the fight for freedom isn't a single path. It can be a deeply personal sacrifice, a brave act of political courage, or a bold revolutionary vision. And that kind of leaves us with one last question, and this one's for you to think about. Based on these criteria, dignity, wisdom, resourcefulness, and using power for freedom, who would you put on this card? Who's your wild card for freedom?